we're going to do the James R. Gordon Ohio Understanding Award. This category recognizes in-depth projects that celebrate or illuminate issues specific to the state of Ohio. The entry may be from an individual or a team effort. There is no limit to the number of images in a story. So a lot of these end up being longer, more in-depth team picture stories than what we saw in the earlier category. And there are 4 of them. So we'll do the same thing. I'll have Josh read the description, and then as we look at the slideshow. This is past due.
Past due. Lucas Metropolitan Housing is among the city's top landlords when it comes to eviction filings. Kytrell Brown, 40, has tried in court to fight her eviction from public housing, but she couldn't gather all the documents she needed in time to prove the lights and gas were back in her name. The judge sided with Lucas Metropolitan Housing after the Public Housing Authority she said she failed to maintain the utilities, owed $46.50 in maintenance costs, and failed to fill out paperwork recertifying her for public housing. Brown was evicted with her son before evictions for non-payment of rent were paused March 27, 2020. 37% of the non-payment cases were filed for less than $100 owed. These families who have been past due on rent would have been evicted. The pandemic with the public housing moratorium saved them from homelessness. While homeschooling and trying to make ends meet, LMHA families are constantly worried about the end of the moratorium.
BLM.
Black Lives Matter. Following the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, protests erupted across the globe calling for an end to police brutality and for racial justice. In Columbus, Ohio, protesters came downtown in the days after Floyd's death, pleading for accountability and demanding change from the local police department, which has had several police-involved shootings of Black men. Clashes with police were common in the first few days of the protests. The crowds continued to grow and remained largely peaceful in the weeks that followed as protesters worked for change through the summer. Near the end of the year, 2 Black men, Andre Hill and Casey Goodson, were both killed by Columbus police officers in separate incidents. As their lives were mourned, the push for racial equality continued in our city.
It's like political climate of Southeast Ohio.
Political climate of Southeastern Ohio. Ohio has been described by political analysts and media as a microcosm of the political winds of the country, a swing state. As the country wrestled with polar opposites between the parties, the people in rural Southeastern Ohio, the foothills of the Appalachians, mirrored those divisions. A crowd of Trump supporters waits in front of a Trump campaign bus in Marietta, Ohio on Saturday, October 31st for a campaign rally. About 200 people attended the event. While the urban areas of Cleveland and Columbus are liberal strongholds, many people in Southeastern Ohio identify as conservative.
Called Columbus.
Ohio in struggle. Since 2016, I've documented the grassroots activism in Central Ohio. 2020 saw many consequential movements that have highlighted the strengths and weaknesses of coexisting in racial, economically, and ideologically diverse community. This collection encompasses the emotional tides Ohio experienced as this historical year progressed.
So since there's only 4, I don't know if we necessarily have to vote. We can just sort of look at them and move them around and talk about them and come up with some sort of order that way, if that's okay.
Is it one award?
Yes.
So just to one person, one group, one person or one entry.
Yes.
Okay. I think BLM stands out the most for me in terms of both breadth and how it's photographed, the photography.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nate, you're nodding too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It separates itself.
Well, that was pretty easy then. If that's if that's what you guys want, that's what we'll do.
It's strong.
Yeah, there's a lot of images that we've talked about throughout the competition as well. So
It is, and we're gonna start seeing more duplicates as we get into some of these longer stories, and then especially in portfolios. So you'll start to put the pieces together as to who's done
Yeah.
what.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I think it's just like we already have that reaction to it because we know some of the images and we know we've discussed how strong they are.
Okay. So let's do this.
I wasn't paying attention. Which one won?
BLM, this one that's up right here. And pay attention, Bob.
I got a lot on my plate, as they say.
To be fair, they came up with the winner pretty quickly. So I think we should probably take a dinner break, if that's okay with everybody. The amount of time is kind of up to you